What you just saw right there is the German-made Skynext air defense system in Ukraine. Ukraine bravely defending its homeland from the Russia invasion. Not only that, Ukraine going on the offense. You see right here, Russia's Krasnodar oil refinery being hit by Ukrainian drones. Ukraine working hard to Russia's ability to fuel its invasion against Ukraine. Meanwhile, you have Donald Trump and his regime shriveling up in the United States and behaving as a Putin bootlicker. It is disturbing to watch. We've seen French President Emmanuel Macron, Germany's Chancellor Merchmeet in France over the past few days and talk about how weak the United States is looking under the failed leadership of Donald Trump. By the way, where the hell is Donald Trump? He has not been seen for the past few days. Yes, he's rage-posting on social media, but no public appearances for him is very, very odd. We've seen the bizarre discoloration on his rotting hands. He's tried to cover it up with makeup. That doesn't work. We've seen the massive inflammation in his ankles. He can barely put his feet into his shoes right now. And he cannot walk in straight lines. As Charlotte Clymer writes, Trump wasn't seen yesterday by the White House press pool. He hasn't been seen today. He has no public events scheduled for the weekend. He hasn't been seen in public since Wednesday, and it's unclear if he'll even be seen in public until next Tuesday. That's pretty damn weird. Take a look right here as Governor Newsom posts the following. An image of Governor Cuomo, younger governor, handsome, looking like he's ready to, defend the United States of America. On the other hand, a very sickly-looking Donald Trump, Governor Cuomo. Post there, side by side, so you can really get a sense of how sickly and rotting Donald Trump looks compared to a much better-looking, handsome Governor Cuomo, strong leader in Newsom. Newsom goes, Governor Gavin Newsom just called Trump America's biggest loser after the court ruled that Trump's tariffs are illegal. This is a huge win. While California's lawsuit moves forward, folks, just think about the devastating news Donald Trump was handed. He's been unable to cover up the Epstein files despite all of his attempts since he forced Congress to go into recess in order to cover up the Epstein files. He was handed a massive loss on Friday as the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals ruled that Donald Trump's use of emergency powers to tariff the world was patently illegal. Also, late Friday, a federal court ruled that Donald Trump's expedited deportations of immigrants who have been in the United States for some time without due process is also unlawful. It has been loss after loss for Donald Trump. And now the international community also is calling him out how weak and pathetic he looks. I'll do a video on that in about 90 minutes where you see the president of Portugal calling Donald Trump an asset of Putin. You have French President Emmanuel Macron and Germany's Chancellor Merz saying you've been played by Putin, and it is humiliating Donald. But here's what Donald Trump prefers to do. They posted this photo. I'm not sure when it's taken, but again, look how sickly he looks. He's looking at a bust of George Washington here. He almost looks like he's crying. It almost looks like he's going to vomit or something. But then Governor Cuomo posted that image, replaced George Washington with Joseph Stalin because Donald Trump is a communist. He's a Marxist, and that's what Governor Cuomo says. After nationalizing Intel, Comrade Trump, America's leading socialist, unveils the new statue. All hail Comrade Trump. That's how you have to treat Donald Trump. You gotta bully him. You gotta mock him. You got to humiliate him in public the way Governor Cuomo is doing and the way voters are doing across the country right now. I understand Donald Trump wants to rig the midterms because he knows the massive loss that he and the MAGA Republicans are about to face. Democrats up significantly in the generic ballot because, let's face it, the MAGA Republicans have caused more harm to America than really anyone in the history of our country in such a short period of time. Here's a collection of clips of multiple Republicans getting booed at town halls this week, care of our friend Jen Psaki.
Wanted to do is try to heal our country. I think we've been more divided. And sir, you're laughing. It's not helping.
You're not laughing.
They found loopholes to be able to add non-citizens. Almost everyone in the room, if you pay income taxes, you can see it.
This isn't just a story about trade. This is the story of how Donald Trump's ego just detonated America's greatest economic advantage and handed it straight to Canada. While Trump was ranting on Truth Social about America First, Mark Carney was pulling off one of the most ruthless economic ambushes of the 21st century. Carney didn't just defend Canada. He flipped the board, rewrote the rules, and left Trump staring at a chess game he didn't even realize he was losing. Right now, as you're watching this, billions of dollars in U.S. exports are stranded. Factories from Detroit to Ohio are cutting shifts. And the $5 billion Gordie Howe International Bridge, the crown jewel of Trump's trade promises, has turned into a monument of his failure. And here's the part no one in Washington wants to admit. This wasn't a mistake. It was a surgical strike, an act of economic warfare, and the first casualty of this war, America's credibility, March 2025. The Gordie Howe International Bridge wasn't just steel and concrete. It was supposed to be Donald Trump's legacy, a $5 billion monument to American dominance, the artery that would keep North America united under Washington's grip. But here's the truth. That bridge became a coffin for America's credibility, because this wasn't just infrastructure, it was power. 12,000 trucks, 400 million in goods every single day. Detroit, Windsor, Toronto, Chicago, all of them tied together by a single stretch of steel. The auto industry itself beating to the rhythm of that border. Engine blocks cast in Michigan, fitted in Ohio, assembled in Ontario, then sent back again. For decades, it was seamless, untouchable, and then with one tweet, Donald Trump torched it all. On your screen right now is the moment America's greatest economic artery flatlined. 25% automotive tariffs on Canada and Mexico. America first, national security, American steel first, make America great again. It wasn't just a tariff. It was a declaration of war, economic war, political war, and Mark Carney didn't waste a second. While Trump was playing strongman for his base, Carney was already loading the chessboard with Canada's counterstrike. A move that turned America's $5 billion bridge into Trump's most humiliating blunder. One sentence, 280 characters. That's all it took to detonate the North American supply chain.